Welcome back to D-Day at Omaha Beach. In this tutorial, we're going to talk a little about the action phase before turn 17. So we've already started the action phase at this point. Um, let's look at some units. This unit here, with the red circle around the combat strength, is a heroic unit, which means it can perform actions for free. So when we click on it, we get an action grid. The M's indicate those are regular moves, so any sort of an infantry or mechanized unit can make those sort of moves. An F indicates that only foot units, which are infantry and leaders and headquarters, could make that sort of move. And then the A indicates if we click on this hex, we're going to initiate attack, which is what we're going to do in this case. So we click on the German unit, and we get the combat report. So on this screen, we get to preview what our attack strength is, what the defense strength for the target is, what weapons we have. What weapons we have is indicated by the check marks. Required weapons are highlighted in the dark background. In this case, we do have a hero, so we get to pick. The hero can either add 1 to the attack, or he can pick a weapon. In this case, it doesn't really matter. We have this unit nailed no matter what we do. Finally, at the bottom, we can cancel attack, which if there was any actions required for it, we would get those back at this point. It also tells us what the result's going to be based on the weapons and relative strength of the defender and attacker. So we'll go ahead and resolve that. We get a report of what the result is. A lot of times what will happen is the second step will be revealed and the combat results will be recalculated. So we defeated that unit. Now the gray circles indicate the units are in command, in this case of this headquarters that's in an adjacent hex. So those units can move for free or attack for free also. And we just pick a hex they can move to. Now infantry units have a special move, which is a self-preservation move. So that'll show up as an S. That means we can move to that hex without expending an action. Now anytime you can see all the self-preservation grid by holding down the P key. Now for armor units, we have an additional action, which is barrage. That'll show up as a B on an eligible German target. And to execute that attack, we would just click on the target unit. In this case, we have to use an action, so it's going to confirm with us that we do actually want to use an action to do that action, that barrage attack. And so it performs the attack. It tells us what column we were on, and the random result, in this case, no effect. And actually, I think that's everything of interest we can do here. So we're gonna end this phase. At any time, you can go over the right side and look at the number of actions you have remaining. Normally, you don't want to leave any unused actions up here. For demonstration purposes, we're gonna cut this turn short. And so when we're done with the action phase, we just click on the done button and it'll ask us to confirm that. We'll say yes. In this case, we left it a ton of units on hexes that are now underwater, and all those units are eliminated. Not the best gameplay ever. Okay, so we're speeding onto this thing because I want to show the landing phase. So as usual, we get a little message at the beginning of a new phase that tells us what our options are. If you don't want to see these every time, you can click on the Do Not Show box, and then the next time this phase is started, you won't see this message. Okay, so the first thing, we get a report of the units that were placed in landing boxes last turn, whether they land or drift or are delayed. It'll also tell us if there's any mine explosions. We'll also get a little graphic if a mine explosion does occur. So in this case, we have new units to place. This unit selector box comes in two sizes. You can hit the space bar. Well, first you have to enable the box. You can hit the space bar to change it to the other size, and back and forth. Unfortunately, you have to keep hitting a unit in the box to activate that function. Okay, so when we do select on a unit, what will happen is it'll show the eligible landing boxes for that particular unit. Now, if there's no choices available, the unit will simply be placed where it's scheduled to land. To actually place on it, you click on one of the hexes. If you change your mind, you can click on it, and it returns back to the box. Inside the unit selector box, it's telling you what beach, if it has a name, it's telling you what beaches it has to land on. Once it's placed, it'll change to the hex number. Now, before turn 7, all these units have to be placed before the program will allow you to close the box. After turn 7, we can delay units, and after turn 10, rather returning to the original beach landing area, they can land any place in their sector. So we really don't want to land these artillery units because we don't want to use actions to move them until later in the game. So we're going to close this without placing any units, and we'll get up a little message box that we can either cancel delaying the units, in which case we just hit done and we'd go back to placing them, or we can pick to what turn we want to delay them. I only give you 3 turns and then indefinitely. In this case, we probably want to wait till about turn 17 before landing these guys, but for now we'll just delay them to turn 11. And that covers the action phase and engine landing phase before turn 17.